All right. Welcome to lab number 7. Of AZ-800. Right, welcome to lab number 7 of AZ-800. The name of the lab is Implementing and Configuring Network Infrastructure Services in Windows Server. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set up and configure a DHCP and DNS services. And I've already installed Windows Admin Center onto the admin machine. This has been done during a previous lab, so if you don't know how this works and are interested, then please go watch one of the previous labs. But yeah, so we're here, and this has just been installed, so only the admin server is available here. So first, what we want to do is install the relevant extensions. So we go to extensions over here. And then what we need is DHCP. And then the other one we need is DNS. And then we will not be installing this to this admin machine, but rather the server one. So we are in admin one now. So let's add that one. All right. So now, if we go to server one, roles and features here. We're going to start off by adding the DHCP server role. All right. So for me, at least, the notification didn't work, but DHCP server seems to be installed now. We could also take a look at Server Manager over here. And under notifications, refresh failed, but yeah, here you can see post deployment for DHCP on our SVR 1. So definitely it did install it. So we can complete the configuration directly from here. We're just logging in with our administrator account. And now it's done. All right, so now the DHCP server is authorized for your domain. So back to Windows Admin Center. And now we should be able to control DHCP from here. We first need to install the remote tools. There we go. Now we could create a new scope. And we're going to call it Contoso Client. We're going to give it a set of IP addresses to administrate. There we go. The default gateway is going to be the first IP address. And then we're going to say, okay, the lease length is like 4 days. Yep, let's create that. While that's creating, we can go back to Server Manager and then look at the DHCP tool here. Actions, we can manage the authorized service. You can see here that SVR1 is an authorized server. So then we can add that server. Let's make this a bit bigger. So we got our IPv4. We got a scope here, which is the one that we just created. We have the options here, gateway. Maybe we could add the DNS here. And let's put in the domain controller. That works. Then another thing that we might want to do is configure failover. So if we go to our IPv4 stuff, we should be able to configure failover right here. We want to select all scopes, so the one that we have. And then we want to add partner server. And the partner server is going to be DC1, the domain controller. So there's going to be a failover relationship. Let's call it SVR1 to DC1. We're happy with 1 hour lead time. The mode is going to be hot standby. And the role of the partner server is going to be that standby. Reserve 5% of addresses for it. We don't have a switchover interval. We do want to enable message authentication. And as I say, our shared secret is going to be DHCP failover. Great. So we can start this process. And as you can see, the configuration has now been implemented. So let's look at this from the other point of view, from DC1. Let's manage that for a bit. And now in DC1 under IPv4, we should have both the original scope that it had, as well as the new one that we just created. We could do failover for this scope, in reverse, right? So let's do that. And we already have this failover relationship with SVR1. So we're going to reuse that one. And so we get all of the configurations for us. I can just finish this. And now that one has been set up. So now if we go back to SVR1, IPv4, and we refresh, we see both scopes over here as well. So one way to figure out if this is working properly on our admin machine, we could go to network settings. Okay, just settings. And then network. Network and sharing center. So let's take a look at our Ethernet properties. And then we need to find IPv4. And then properties. So currently it is using a static IP address. Instead of that, we could make it use DHCP. And also to get DNS from DHCP. Let's do that. Now if we take a look at the details, you can see that it got an IP address from that range, and the default gateway is 0.1 and the DNS server is 0.10 as was supposed to be. Go back to Server Manager, or specifically DHCP. If we look at our scope here and our address leases, we can see that the 160 has been taken. Okay, let's set this stuff back in here. So we want to use the manual version instead, like it was before. This, 10, oops, 10, 11, and this is 255, 255. 255. Yeah, no, it was correct. I hate this wizard. Default gateway is 172.168.10.1, and then the DNS was 172.168.10.10. All right, here we go. Check that works. Yep. Cool. So DHCP is working. Next up, we're gonna set up DNS. So let's go to Windows Admin Center. And then set up the DNS role. So we're managing SVR1, server 1. And now we want to install the DNS server. So yeah, like previously, this is not really updating properly. So just, yeah, we can see that it is available still here. But if we kind of refresh that, yeah, and you see that's actually already been installed. All right, so next, let's go to the DNS tool. I need to refresh that. Yeah, now it's here. And then we can create a new DNS zone here. We again need to install the PowerShell tools first. And then we can create a DNS zone. Name is going to be treyresearch.net in a zone file. And we don't want this to be dynamic from the domain. There we go. Now within Trey Research, right, we can create a new record. So there's an A record called test app. It has a specific IP address. Maybe just 10 minutes TTL. Okay, so on our local machine, let's get PowerShell. What is this? And then let's try to resolve this domain name. Server that we want to use for that is the casrv1.contoso.com. The name that we want to resolve is testapp.treyresearch.net. No, I didn't get that right. Maybe we just use it as lookup. It's SVR, not SRV. That's me. There we go. That worked. Then we could do some forwarding. Let's do that from Server Manager. We get the DNS tool. It's going to run on a different computer. And it's going to be SEASVR. Oops. SEASVR1.contoso.com. There we go. So we could see the forward lookup zone here that we just generated. That's correct. Another thing we could do is take a look at the properties here. And then we have forwarders here. And there's currently none. So let's set it up. 131.107.0.100. So yeah, we can also do conditional forwarders over here. There are currently none, so we create a new one from here. And this time for the domain, we're going to say contoso.com And the IP address could be 172.16.10.10, which was the domain controller, if I remember correctly. Okay, so now we could do the same thing, but try to find the address of DC. dc1.contoso.com. Do we close that? Yeah, we shouldn't have it here. If I only knew how to write, right? Let's delete that one. So the domain, of course, was contoso.com, and I made a typo there. And then we put the DC here, like that. Now, yeah, good. What else? Back to Windows Admin Center. And then let's do some remoting. So we're still on server 1. Let's open PowerShell. And then let's add a DNS server client subnet. And then a zone scope for that. And then let's put something in for the head office. And then finally, a policy between that subnet and the zone scope. So let's see if we can test this out. Back to PowerShell. So back to PowerShell. And let's see what we have currently. Yeah, 10.11 that we set up manually. Now let's try to resolve the test app from here. So server is still going to be the same. Now test app.trayresearch.net. And that gives us 179.30. The one that we just configured over here for the head office policy. Very good. Could take a look at the network here as well. It doesn't want to come. Yeah, it does. So if we look at the properties, IPv4, and then properties. And let's say that we're actually in the .11 subnet instead of the .10. Then we would be outside of that subnet that we just created. So let's set that up. It tells us that we don't have any network access. And now we're back. Cool, so that's set up. So then in PowerShell, let's try this thing again. You can see that we now get the different IP address because we're outside of that head office subnet. Okay, Let's put this back to 10.10. All right. And that's it for this lab. Thanks a lot for listening, and see you in the next one. Till then.